So let's start with the established goals and KPI. So we want to talk about what does success look like at the end of this. And this is like any sales management program. Like when you sit down and you're going to set goals for cold calling, foot traffic prospecting, networking meetings, whatever you're doing, you want to say, if we're going to invest the time and energy, what does success look like? Is it 20% more first conversations, right? So pipeline grows 20%. Is it larger deals? Like what's important to you? And then you want to articulate your activity and results goals that align with the reps, the whole team, and the company, right? So there is a difference between activity and results goals. And you may know this, but I'm just going to throw out a result goal might be, I want to be on 5 targeted sales calls a week. That might be a results goal. But I can't really control the result goal. I can only control the activity that gets me there. So the activity might be, if I know if I get 20 warm introductions from clients and networking partners, from LinkedIn, that 10 of them will connect with me and 5 of them will become phone calls. So the activity goal is that I need to ask for or get 20 warm introductions a week. That's an activity goal. So, and that might get broken down even more. Maybe I need to reach out to 3 clients a week with a list of at least 15 names from each of them that I want to review with them. That might come down to 5 introductions each. Or my one-on-one networking meetings. I want to make sure I'm bringing 20 names of people they know, and they can bring 20 names, right? And then out of those 20, we'll get 5 to 7 introductions. And so that now we've really articulated what do we want to get. So success. What does success look like? 5 more calls a week. How are we going to do that? What activity are we going to use to do that? And then we can measure if it's working or not. And then this is really important, is make sure, we talked a little bit about this, but identify the organization's goals as a whole. We don't want to silo our goals and our KPIs. We want to make sure that they align with what everybody's expectations are. Now, KPIs for LinkedIn can be anything from measuring your social selling index on an ongoing basis. So if you go to getmyssiscore.com, you can take, in the beginning before you roll out a program, you can kind of take a baseline of where everyone is. You can look at the number of connections that a sales rep has as a baseline. And then when you do your one-on-ones, whether it's, and we'll talk maybe a little bit in coaching when we get to that piece, but ultimately, what's the baseline? Maybe we create a search string on LinkedIn that pull for our first degree connection. So we search our first degree connections to identify who in our network meets our exact criteria. So who are we already connected to? Maybe we do that search for a sales rep and today they have 84, right? So that's a benchmark. Now we do that exact same search. And so instead of looking at net new connections across the board, how many connections are targeted? So if 84 goes to 90 this week, we know they've connected with 6 new right people. So keep that in mind. There are lots of KPIs, but if you don't establish these early on, it's really hard to measure the success of the program.